What up, sports fans? All our fellow horsemen.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties. I closed myself out because I was frozen, and I think Mac is frozen as well, and he's rebooting. So give us a moment. These things happen on live broadcast sometimes, technical difficulties. So if you're out there listening, I'll fill in some of the airspace. I know somebody actually got mad at me once for doing that on a space once because it was complete silence. And I see somebody leaving now. Listen, we got a great show for you. And I think Mac will be returning soon. If not now, let me go just, I'm going to give him a call, see if he's. Yeah, well, Mac is coming back. He's got technical difficulties, so we're just going to plow on. So the show we got for you tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about Dexter Lawrence. We're going to talk a little bit about WWE and everything in between, hopefully, that we can bring up. But we'll give Mac another minute or two to see if he can come on. But as you know, as Giant fans, what's going on with Dexter Lawrence and that drama. So when he comes back, I'm sure we'll get his take. Other news, the NFL draft is a week away. It's kind of intriguing. I was on the phone today with a friend, and he was saying, it wasn't really that exciting to him. I'm like, well, it's not exciting because nobody knows. There's no quarterbacks in this draft, really, right? And usually drafts that make exciting is like because you're talking about the quarterbacks, and then that just gets you the coverage because they're nonstop talking about quarterbacks 24/7, right? And so when you do that, you dominate and monopolize all the coverage of the draft, and so other players go down by the wayside, right? There are some intriguing prospects at the top of this draft. A lot of good prospects, and there's a lot of teams. Here's something that we haven't thought about. Something we haven't talked about really is, and here's Mac, was
I apologize, everybody.
Sorry about that. I was just filling the time by talking about how the draft's not as intriguing as most people want it to be because I just said the quarterbacks aren't there the same way, so the coverage is not there with that. When they have a lot of coverage, and Matt can start the show, and I'll end this real quick, is the quarterbacks draw the coverage and the eyeballs. So that's why you don't see as much of it because there's a lackluster quarterback class. But Mac, you're back. I don't know if you started the intro, but I'm not going to get in your way anymore.
Oh no, I mean it's cool, but you started the show already. It's kind of, at this point we'll just go with the flow, man. Unfortunately, I had technical issues in the middle of the intro, so it got a little jacked up this week. But we're not going to run it back. I am assuming at this point I just want to just go carry on and let's talk about it. It was kind of just right as soon as we go live, all of a sudden my internet just want to go crazy for a minute. Like it's absolutely unbelievable.
Well,
But
I saw you freeze, and then I didn't know anything, so I left and came back in, and then I didn't know we were still live, and I popped back in. I was just talking about the draft a little bit and the intrigue or lack thereof, according to my friends. They're like, oh, our draft is not as exciting, and so I was filling the airspace talking about that. But I know we have a big topic on our hands, a 340-pound big topic to be exact. Mac, I guess usually the host of the show. How do you want to get started?
well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, so to say, man. One Mr. Dexter Lawrence. Things have completely seen the spiral out of control. And with these negotiations, at this point now, it's not even about the money. He seems to, from everything I'm hearing now, wants to be traded. He wants to be gone. He no longer wants to be part of the New York Football Giants, man. This is just coming a couple of days after the Joe Shane presser, in which Joe Shane was just, oh yeah, things are just so going well right now. Things are moving along really well with Dexter Lawrence in negotiations. And later on that night, we heard that they came to an impasse. And now here we are a couple of days later, and apparently it's just completely blown up. So, Adam, I don't know. What's your thoughts on Dex, man?
Well, it's been a weird kind of couple of days because I've been listening to some, spaces and radio, and everybody has mixed feelings. Most Giant fans who are huge fans are using their heart and saying, I don't think he's going. This is just a ploy. This is a tactic. And everyone's like, well, look at Myles Garrett. Look at Myles Garrett. I'm like, why aren't we looking at two players, Quinnen Williams and Micah Parsons? We'll start with Micah Parsons first, because I know Myles Garrett did the same thing. He wrote a letter, goodbye, but he got paid. Well, he also was coming off a 20-sack season. Okay, the Giants understood what they were doing with Dexter Lawrence, and so they signed him early. And this is what you get, a bargain contract. But if we look at what the Micah Parsons situation happened last year, we were on this show or at the NFC East Roundup, whatever show we were on, you and I, and we said, we don't think this is going to happen. This can't possibly be traded. It's nothing, this is just a negotiation tactic. Then what happened? He ends up going to Green Bay. Somebody we never thought on a team would be traded, right? Micah Parsons, when we first heard that news, we didn't think anything. We didn't think that was going to happen. So I think some Giant fans need to realize, look at that situation down the road in your own division. And don't tell me that it can't happen, because I love Dexter Lawrence, but Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons for a reason, okay? And whether you want to believe they're on the same level or not, they're two different positions, but they both have impact on their team. They're both guys you thought would be there for a long time. Now, Dexter could still be there, but what I'm getting at is, don't get comfortable as this is a negotiation, because the same kind of stuff happened with Micah Parsons. A new regime comes in, right? They have Brian Schottenheimer. We have, John Harbaugh. Things were promised to him. He didn't get those promises. Well, guess what? They didn't trade him because after the draft, they couldn't get a contract going. So they held out into camp, right? And all he was at camp was walking around in his gym shorts there so he could not get fined. Right? So why do people keep thinking that this is going to end after the draft is over? You don't just all of a sudden no trade request, right? If you want to get paid and you sunk in your feet in the mud, you're probably going to try to get whatever dollar. Now let's go fast forward to Quinnen Williams. He was traded during the year, the same kind of timeline that Dexter Lawrence had. He's been asking out of New York for a couple of years now. They weren't going to give it to him. They weren't going to trade him. And then an offer came by from the Dallas Cowboys because they had an extra couple picks from trading Micah Parsons, and they were able to acquire Quinnen Williams for a first and a second. And that's where I think that the discussions are going to start. I do believe there is a chance you don't see Dexter Lawrence with us next year because of those two scenarios I pointed out. Two cornerstone defensive players that we didn't think get traded. Even Sauce Gardner got traded. People ask, well, why you get rid of good players? Well, if the Giants have a chance to get a first-round pick this year and next year a second-round pick or a first-round pick next year or down the road, you take it, right? And if he doesn't want to be here and there's a team that's going to be able to pay him, He's going to get paid. He is one of the best agents in the game that's representing him. Okay, if anyone thought this is going to be an impasse and is going to get done quickly, dig your heels in, because that agent's not going to just all of a sudden say, "All right, Dexter, we're going to camp now for $27 million." No, they're going to stand on business. If they believe they deserve 31, somebody is going to give him 31. If the Giants want to give him 27 to like boost it and guarantee it, maybe with incentives, maybe he'll come back. But I don't think at this point he is, because I just feel if you're asking for a trade and you're asking out of an organization, then your heels are probably met. Now, here's where I don't understand. The thing that I think is really hurting the Giants is Joe Schoen. And the reason I say this is I'm wondering what would have happened if they fired Joe Schoen, right? And they got in Dawn Aponte, right? And they just brought her in instead of Joe Schoen. Does this negotiation get done? Does it? Because then Harbaugh and Dawn are there kind of hand in hand working together. While right now they're throwing Joe Schoen into the mix. And if I'm, the agent of Dexter Lawrence, you pay Daniel Jones, you let all these other idiots walk, you have a certain price, they know how to negotiate. And what I'm saying is maybe the relationship has eroded with that communication that, Dexter Lawrence is like, you know what, if you're not going to change this guy and he's not going to change, you're not going to come off your stance, I'm out. And, New York is a weird place to live. If some guys don't want to be here, he has a kid now, so maybe he wants to go to a place where his kids can grow up. I don't know. I'm not saying he can't grow up in New Jersey. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. But if you look at it, the headache of the commute, all this stuff, like it's a real different type of vibe when you go other places. And if they can pay him, like, I'll land this plane because I want to hear your thoughts. And then we can get into some teams that might want him. But I think this has gotten uglier, and it's only getting uglier by the day and by the hour almost. And I do believe they're going to find some team that's going to offer them what they want.
Well, this is an ugly situation. Because in a sense, it's like obviously the team is definitely much better with Dex on it. And I see you in the chat out there too, Mosey, man. What's going on? But at the same time, it's now we're starting to get to the point where if this guy genuinely doesn't want to be here anymore, then I feel like gotta listen to these offers, man, and really see what the best one is. And we have to really start thinking seriously about entertaining it, man. Unfortunately, that's just where we are. That's how I feel like where we are, because at this point, I do kind of somewhat agree here. Like, like you said, you honor your contract. You signed the contract, you honor it. It is what it is. It's nobody's fault that we got you before you really, really blew all the way up. You know what I mean?
Right. We
kind of caught him early, saw what was coming. We said we could keep this guy around, you know what I mean? And now, sure, then you had a monster year, and then even the year when you got hurt, you were putting together a monster season before the injury, and unfortunately, yeah, you're him. You're him now, and you're just not able to get things worked out. And not happy with the way the negotiations is going. Really tough titty, man, because you are technically signed for 2 more years, bro. And much as I love you, honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, this could be a blessing in disguise for the New York Giants, because realistically, what you should be able to get for Dexter Lawrence should be a pretty nice haul. You know what I mean? It should be a pretty good haul. Definitely first round picks and some. And overall, that could help the New York Giants out a little bit. It's a big loss in the middle of that defense by far. And he'll definitely be missed, but I just don't get to a point with players when you tell me you don't want to be here, then I just don't, I don't want to keep spinning those wheels.
Well,
and move on with the guys that want to be here.
You bring up a good point. If he doesn't want to be here, let's say that rumor is true, right? I don't know if he's not, but let's say it's true. You already told you he doesn't want to be here. He wants to be traded. Once you start to say those words, it's almost like you're headed for a divorce. It's like the D word in a marriage, right? The divorce word. You tried to work it out. It didn't comfortable working here, then you better be able to stand on that. You better be able to stand on that in case the team turns around and says, fine, Dex, we're going to trade you. See ya. Because like Mosley said, honor your agreement. It's true. I'm like, all these people want a new contract after they sign an agreement. Like, look at Andrew Thomas. That guy's going to play his contract out, and I guarantee he's going to get a banger of extension in the next year or two when his contract is up, because that's what he's going to do. He's just going to honor his agreement. Everybody gets paid the next highest guy. Now, here's something I thought about with somebody else. The Giants might look at him as a nose tackle, and if that's the case, then the value of him is not a $30 million value. They're not going to assess him, even though he might be better than quote-unquote Jordan Davis, right, $27 million. Maybe they don't value Jordan Davis the same way, and he came off a Super Bowl run. So everybody gets paid a bigger, bag after a Super Bowl run, right? So if they value him as a nose tackle, and let's say Jordan Davis is the highest paid nose tackle, then are they going to pay him higher than that or equivalent? Now, he thinks he might be a D tackle more than the Chris Jones ilk, where he might want a different tier. I mean, I know this is an outlandish way of thinking, but this is why I do believe they might be at an impasse, because if Dexter's looking at himself as Chris Jones and says, there's nobody better than me, there's what? Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons, maybe, me, and then everybody else, right? Those are maybe the top three guys and at that position. Maybe a Geno Atkins, the guy on the Bengals, like maybe about that. There's not many guys that can do what Dexter Lawrence does. But if the Giants value him as a nose guard and he feels he's a defensive tackle, even though he played nose guard twice and he had a down year, and you still have to honor his contract, the Giants are not obligated to do anything for him. And this is where I think you get into this sticky situation, because if Dexter really wants a raise and the Giants are like, we'll revisit this after the year, well, like Mosley says, what if he has a big year? What if the Giants are 3-5 next year after 8, or 3-6, and the playoffs are not in reach? We want to finish strong. Are you gonna, and someone comes calling for a defensive tackle that they need? Let's just say after the draft, because I think there's going to be teams during the draft that call. But let's just play this out. If he stays, you're going to get offers for that guy like they did last year. And what are you going to not trade him? If you're not going to pay him, which they clearly don't want to do, get something for him now. Giants, if you're going to let him go, get something for him. Don't let him sit here disgruntled in 2 years and then not pay him because you want a comp pick formula, or you don't want to pay $100 million, or God forbid you have to now pay Jackson Dart because you decided to not handle this and now you can't handle both and you got nothing for the guy. Like, get something. But what I can see happening is what happened with Quentin Williams if it goes past the draft. Yeah. Now, for me, I think there's going to be some teams that want him during the draft.
That's to me is the best option. Like that, try to get some more, try to acquire more draft capital. I mean, I feel like the Giants could definitely use another pick or two for sure in this upcoming draft. A 3rd round pick. Try to get another 3rd round, maybe get another 2nd round pick if you can. I mean, they need more. I feel like they need a little more draft capital in this upcoming draft anyway. So this could be the best opportunity, because with Dexter Lawrence, here's the like another the thing with him. You don't want him to like just be sitting out whatever, and you're not moving him. And then if he's not playing on the field, then his value is only going to go down anyway. So if you're going to move him, you got to move him and get maximum value when you can get maximum value for him. Can't wait around until that decreases, and then it's like all of a sudden now all you can get is maybe a 2nd or a 3rd or something for Dexter Lawrence. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to get to a point where now you're just giving them away. You need to get maximum value if he's going to move. So you got to figure out what your plan of action is, and I think getting done in the draft is definitely the move, man, for sure. So, look, I want Dex here personally myself. I would love to have him here. But at the end of the day, man, ain't no one man gonna stop the show, man. So he's a big piece. He's very important to this. But look, if we got to move on without him, we just got to move on without him.
Before I get into some of the teams that I think would want him, I want to say this: I root for the helmet. I don't always root for the player under the helmet. Meaning, players are going to come and go. Some are going to transcend the pantheons of your team. Lawrence Taylors, Eli Mannings, guys of that ilk, right? They're guys who are going to be remembered in numbers, like Odell Beckham with 13. Anyone who wears 13, you can remember Odell. It's not a Hall of Fame number, but the impact that he had with the Giants was good. Victor Cruz, you're going to remember him, right? Even though Shockey had his number, you're going to remember guys. But look what's happened. Cruz was 80. Before that, it was Shockey. 13 was, Odell. Next one is Hyatt. Guys are going to come, guys are going to go. What you want is, what I do is I root for the helmet. That one, I'm going to be upset. I'll be mad and disappointed, but I'm not going to, break my heart anymore because I root for the Giants. Now, if the Giants move to a different team, then we have a different story. Like if they decided, we're up and leaving New York and we're going to, Tennessee or, Montana or something like that, it'll be a little bit more difficult because I root for the helmet. So I just want people to be out there with, like, it's not about Dexter Lawrence and winning and losing. We all know how good he is, and we all are fans of him, right? This doesn't mean I don't want Dexter. I'm just telling you, if you want to not have so much emotion and not have so much, blinders on, just look at the Giants and just root for the guys in the helmets and the helmet, not necessarily the jersey on the back, because that name always changes no matter what. Now, some teams that might want Dexter Lawrence. What'd you say?
No, I said facts. I said facts.
Oh.
I was just. You were saying. Can't. I don't know. I lost you, Adam. I'm not hearing anything.
Are gonna, never forgotten. But anyways, Chicago is a team I think that could trade for the Dexter Lawrence. I heard Detroit is a team that might be interested. There's a rumor about Cincinnati. I don't know how true that is, but teams like that, like Jacksonville, why they want to trade for him? They have Brian Thomas. He was been floated around as trade rumors, right? What if you got their first this year, Brian Thomas, and the second in next year's draft? Are you taking that for Dexter Lawrence? I mean, I might.
Unfortunately, they don't have a first year.
They don't have a first this year? Oh,
I don't think they.
Right.
Fine. I don't think so.
I thought they had a first. Maybe their first in 2028 then, right? Like if they gave you their first in 2028, because then maybe they didn't want to do it in 2027, or hell, maybe they do it in 2027, and they give you a second round pick this year. As long as I'm getting a first round pick back, I'm good. Whether it's in the future in 2027, 2026, or even in 2028, I will take a first round pick. Okay. And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a team like Chicago who goes DeAndre Swift and then, a second round pick next year. And they believe they're going to be contending for a Super Bowl, right? So why wouldn't they want to get Dexter Lawrence in the building and do anything necessary? The Rams, another team, I don't know how much draft capital they have, but they're a team that knows to make moves. Why wouldn't they want him? The Houston Texans, their defense was absolutely stout last year. Imagine if they said, you know what, Giants, excuse me, we'll give you pick 20, whatever they are, and a third round pick, let's say a third round pick this year, and then a third round pick in 2027, right? I would be like, all right, that's a great deal. I'm getting a first this year and a third that I needed, right? So I get 2 firsts this year to fill out my team. Maybe I pick let's say a Sonny Styles and a Mekhi Lemon if he slips down to that part, or whatever lineman or other safety or linebacker you want. Like there are teams out there that I believe we're going to start calling next week when the draft's starting to really heat up, right? And I believe once the Giants are at 5, that's about, I would say, an hour into the draft. So about 9 o'clock, when the Giants are on the clock, that doesn't mean they're not going to be able to trade Dexter Lawrence. quarterback. We were a play away from the NFC Championship game last year. I think that Dexter Lawrence can help me. Why wouldn't they want to do it? And then you got to think about it like that, right? They think they're going to be later on in the draft anyway. So why do I care about 2027 draft pick if I think I'm going to be in the Super Bowl, right? That's how you have to think if they're going to do this for Dexter Lawrence. And I'm sure there's other teams that, like the Rams, that would want to do that as well, especially if the Rams don't have a first-round pick. I mean, they have two, actually, but they're not going to give up two for them. Maybe they give up one, right? The Cowboys are out there. They got picks as well. So I'm not saying you want to trade them to Dallas, but like teams that have double the picks, who knows? Miami, maybe they want him. There's a lot of teams out there that I could see Dexter Lawrence going to, and teams offering a first-round pick, especially some of the better teams in the latter half of the draft, from picks 20 on. Imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take Dexter Lawrence and put him right next to Cam Hayward, right in the middle of that fucking defense."
That'll be impressive, especially with TJ Watt coming off the edge. That would be very impressive. But I know you slipped it in there when you were talking, but there's no way in a scenario in which we should be trading Dexter to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they would have to they'd have to give us a whole lot, you know what I mean, to get Dex. But as far as real quick,
I'm saying teams like that have double.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to touch on a couple draft guys in the draft real quick, maybe some other guys, some other prospects that we haven't talked as much about that you might like that maybe you can try to see the Giants. We talked about the first round enough. Like, who's a guy you really are looking at number 37 at that second round pick, man?
Well, there's a lot of guys. There's the linebacker from Cincinnati. Jack, I think his name is, I forget what his name is, Jack Galladay, I think, or something like that. I like that. Like the guy from Texas, there's another linebacker, AJ Smith, I think his name is. He's a guy that if you could fall there and you don't get Sonny Styles, or AJ Wright, I think his name is, he's a guy that I'm interested in. And I'm also interested in a lot of like second round receivers. The kid from Alabama, I don't know why I'm so drawn to him. Like there's just something about him. He screams second round pick coming out of there. So I really think the Giants have to kind of play this close to the vest, because when you look at their needs, they need a guard, because I don't think their interior is that good, to be honest with you. I think there are a lot of stopgap players in their guard position. So I would look for the highest guard, like a Rutledge type of guy, someone along that ilk. If you decide to trade Dexter Lawrence, there's a couple D tackles, the one from Ohio State. He might slip to you, so that's a guy you can consider in the second round. So there's a few prospects. I'm not deep into it this year, so I can't give you full names. I can just give you helmets and like numbers, but that doesn't really help you, right? I mean, that's kind of bad. But mostly I'm looking at positions. If they don't go for a running back in the first round, I think they're going to definitely pick up another running back. I think they're definitely going to pick up another guard. I definitely think they are going to pick up a receiver as well. And then at 5, it's kind of interesting to think, right? We talk about 37. 5 is really going to dictate where you go with 37, because if you go safety, let's say downs, then I want the next best linebacker, right? Because that's what I need to fill out. And then since I don't have a third round pick, do I trade 37? Because that's something that nobody's talking about. The Giants may not trade out of 5, but I definitely believe they could trade out of 37. Like, especially if Ty Simpson's on the board.
I think it's the most likely.
Right. Especially with the quarterbacks that might still be on there that teams might want, right? Carson Beck's like rising up boards and stuff, Nussmeier. People are willing to take a flyer like the Cardinals. They might trade up, but let's just say they somehow want to maneuver around the draft, or a team that's behind the Giants. I forget who's behind the Giants, but they want to move up and get a quarterback or something. Like there are gonna be chances at 37, I think, where you can really recoup some of the picks. So that would be interesting. No one's really talking about that scenario. They're talking about 5. To me, this draft is intriguing, because I think there's gonna be a ton of good players that are just overlooked because there's not a lot of sexiness in this draft. I think you're gonna come back and relook at this draft and be like, why we didn't get certain players. But if you want to name the Surratt kid, the receiver, I'm interested in him because I think the Giants have a profile right now. They have about a diminutive receivers. We need a big guy. We need a guy that's going to be a red zone target, not just Isaiah Likely, but why not a receiver on the outside? So I know rambled. I know I gave you a few different positions there. I'll let Mac have the floor.
Well, I mean, you said a lot of good names there. Like pretty much, like you said, what we do at 5 was 37, and you're right with the trade scenario situation. I can see us. It's more likely that 37 is the pick that ends up getting traded. We trade back a little later in the second round, pick up a third round pick as well, depending how much somebody wants to come up. I mean, that's a possibility. I think it's a legitimate possibility, and it could be the way they go. But like you said, it does. It strictly depends because, like you said, you get Jeremiah. Say you get Jeremiah Love or Caleb Downs in the first round with the number 5 pick. Then you're talking about Evan, like you said, probably one of those looking at one of those linebackers or the best guard, like you said. I personally still like the kid. I love the kid out of Texas Tech myself.
You know, it's funny.
Rodriguez.
I know you just froze. The Giants at 5 have a luxury pick, I feel. Like they can pick the best player out of a crop of great players.
You know? Yeah.
Like so
absolutely.
Like there's like what? There's Styles, there's Downs, there's possibly Reese, and there's Love, right? So there's 4 guys that could end up in the Giants' vicinity. Are you mad? And even a Cardinal Tate. Are you mad if they take any one of those guys? Not to mention the people talk about the linemen that they might want from either Penn State or Miami if they evaluate them high. Like I don't really feel like in this draft, outside of like drafting a punter, right? Number 5 to me is a luxury. You pick whoever you think is the best player available. And then in the second round, the third rounds, well, you don't have a third round, but the later rounds, start to pick need and depth because that's what this team needs, a lot of depth players, right? We need guys to fill in for when the Josh Azudus and the Evan Neals get kicked off the teams. Then the John Runyons walk.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. But let's move on, man. Move it to the big weekend, man, out in Vegas. It was so good last year. WWE decided to run it back out in Vegas again, man. Wrestlemania, biggest wrestling show of the year out in Las Vegas. WrestleMania 42, day 1, man.
Right? They didn't end up going to Seattle. But those are the guys you pay, those 4th round picks, those 5th round picks. That's what teams thrive on. And I want to see what Harbaugh does this year because I think there's a lot of good players in this draft. We're going to be lucky that we have them. If you look at Harbaugh's track record, he has a decent record of picking players later in the draft, right? And a couple of them are on the team. Isaiah Likely was like a 3rd or 4th round pick. The falafel was like a 6th round pick or something like that. Although he's not that great. So that's something I want to brag about. But what I'm saying is, they get guys later on. The safety that they got him later on. So I'm excited for that. That's what I'm really excited for.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm having like a lot of technical difficulties tonight. For whatever reason, my internet is all over the place tonight. And I do apologize for that. Apologize to you too, bro. But let's try to segue to the big event this weekend, WrestleMania.
2 nights.
2 nights out in Vegas. Once again, WWE such an event last year in Vegas. They decided to take it back out to Vegas once again. The first time I think they did it in the same city back-to-back years, if I can remember correctly. But WrestleMania night 1, Saturday night. What's that? Would you just say, Adam? All right. Well, WWE night 1. Saturday night.
Sorry, folks. I'm looking up WrestleMania 41. This is what live TV does. 41. It was hosted in Allegiant Stadium back to back. I am surprised.
Absolutely. Yeah, they ran it back to, and the next year is going to be in Saudi Arabia. What do you know?
Tough. I mean, nothing against Saudi Arabia. That WrestleMania, you should not take that away from us, right? You want to take maybe the Rumble away, okay? I can see that, but the WrestleMania is WrestleMania, or do something funky. Do one night in Saudi Arabia and one night in, a different town. Like you can do two different. WrestleMania Saturday and post up in two different cities. I guarantee you it would be a banger.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the card.
Well, let's get to it. Let's get to the card. Night one. Night one kicking off. The first match of WrestleMania 42 on night one is going to be the 6-man tag match. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. Yes, the internet, YouTube sensation, I Show Speed. Taking on the Usos and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this match just got kind of put together in the last couple of weeks with a few antics, during after I Show Speed cost the Usos the tag team titles against Division. They put this, and then they had a couple more other incidents. They put this match together. Look, it might be a fun of the show, I suppose. What's your thoughts on this one?
It's I don't know how I feel about it. After Vince McMahon, left, they didn't kind of know what to do with his character, and then he got injured, and then they put him with Logan Paul, right? And then you put the Usos, who probably deserve to be at WrestleMania, but you put this haphazard match together, and here we go. I think there's going to be a lot of high-flying spots, with the Usos doing their Uso splash. I think Logan Paul is always good for a holy shit moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does something insane. And I think the Vision's gonna win here by some type of disqualification or something like that. Because I feel like if they're the tag champions, you have to have them kind of go over, right? If you want to make me believe them. Because other than that, why did you have this ISO Speed thing? You could have just had a tag team match and then, had special guests in the corner, LA Knight and ISO Speed, to kind of make sure nothing goes wrong. That would have been a better thought out match. This is just kind of like, we don't have anything for you to do. Let's put these three guys together and open up a match. I think it'll be entertaining. But I'm not really that care for the outcome.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm just here for the entertainment, man, on this one. What's going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. I think that's what it's going to be, a good, entertaining way to start off WrestleMania Saturday night. That kind of warm you up for what's coming next. And we know what's coming. And let's get to what's coming next, because that's a match I'd much rather talk about. What's the second match on the card, apparently. These matches this first hour of WrestleMania will be live on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. And these first two matches will be aired on ESPN. The second match will be the unsanctioned match between Drew McIntyre and Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. Now, they have been building this matchup for months, and the build for this matchup has been amazing, to say the least. And I think Drew and Jacob are going to tear the house down on Saturday evening, man, over there in Las Vegas, man, because these two unsanctioned, anything goes, do whatever you want. They've been pretty much doing that anyway throughout the entire build. Things these guys have been doing to each other. They've been putting each other through the ringer, and this is just going to be a hard hitting and explosive match, and it could go either way. But I think this is going to be an opportunity to bring Jacob Fatu back up, because after the injury, he hasn't really been able to find his footing, so to speak, so much. It's just been he's just been engulfed in this feud with Drew McIntyre. I think this will be a way that putting him back over again, even though he's definitely over regardless. But this will be that way to really put him back up into title, title consideration once again. Know what you have any thoughts on this one, Adam?
I like the match. I mostly like Jacob Fatu. I didn't know how this was going to play out because they did quickly pivot to Drew McIntyre off the championship. Remember, he was the title holder coming outside of Royal Rumble and having the shot, and because Jacob Fatu cost Cody Rhodes his title in the cage, right? And so there was buildup there. But then they pivoted from that storyline and they said, well, we don't know if Drew McIntyre can hold the belt. We have a better idea. They got it. I hate to say that, use this, but they kind of got Vince McMahon. They kind of got scared and they went with what would work. And that was Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. We'll get to them in a minute. And they went with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. And I think what you said is right. This has been a great build. They have some great matches. Drew McIntyre is going to believe that he's going to go for a legitimate title, either the heavyweight title or the undisputed title. I need him to beat Drew McIntyre, and I think he will, because the Samoan Werewolf, he needs to start going on his own. Remember, he had the USA title. There's titles like the Intercontinental. I think he's a little bigger than that. I think he can actually go for a title like that. But I could easily see him fighting Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes for the undisputed title, and I can also see him fighting CM Punk or Roman Reigns for that title. So I really think it's going to be a crazy match. I think this match is going to bring the house down, like you said. I think people are going to forget about that first match. They're going to be like, Jey Uso actually had a spot in WrestleMania, because this is when WrestleMania starts, right here at this match. And I think this is going to be a tone setter. I think this will really get the crowd lathered up, and then it gets into the next match. So I think it's going to be fun.
Couldn't agree more, man. Definitely couldn't agree more. Jacob Fatu. All right. Well, I don't know if these are in order or not, but we'll just talk about the women's championship match. Stephanie Vacor, the champion, La Primera, taking on, defending that title against Liv Morgan. This match is surprisingly also had a really nice build, man. These girls have been getting at it the last few weeks on Raw, man, been getting after it. And it's going to come to a head Saturday evening. I think with all the momentum right now, La Primera, man, she's her, man. Right now, I think she's really pretty much almost at the top of the mountain, I would say, right now in the women's division. Just the way she rose up from NXT, coming up into the main roster.
I don't know if they
just asserting her dominance.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't hear you, Mac, if you were talking. I was filling in.
All right, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, rebooting. Yes.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear
all right, well, I was just talking about, okay, La Primera. So once again, sorry for technical difficulties, but La Primera, I mean, I think she's right now, she's her. I feel like in the women's division, she's just, her rise to the top in WWE has just been amazing, to say the least, man. And I think that her and Liv Morgan, they'll put on a decent match, man. But I can't see it ending in any other way other than Stephanie Vacur still walking out with that title around her waist. I just can't see it ending any other way than that. And I think there's also going to be some it might be a few antics in this one that'll definitely end up costing Liv Morgan, as we see Judgment Day looking like they're starting to come to an absolute, like that's starting to just slowly come to an end. So look for some interesting things to go on in this match. But I think Stephanie Vacur has to win this title, has to retain her title here.
I'm
Any thoughts?
I disagree. I'm kind of lost, because there's two things that are happening at play here. Either they give Vacur her WrestleMania moment. I know people don't believe that, but they do make those. this could be that moment. It would push her over the top, beating a legit contender in Liv Morgan. But I think Liv Morgan is hot right now. And I think she's going to steal the championship from Stephanie Vaquer as much as she can. And it's only because there's going to be some type of disqualification. Like when you have a person as hot as Stephanie Vaquer and, on the wrestling mat in terms of like where their career is, you don't want to squash them by losing like a clean match. What you want to do is have a distraction happen. So if they lose the title, they don't look like no one's going to feel people are going to be more angry for Stephanie Vaquer than feel sad that she lost. And it still keeps you in that title card. But I just believe that Liv Morgan has done a great job and she's come back. And I think Vaquer, as much as I want her to get a WrestleMania moment, I think she has a long career ahead of her and she'll have more title shots after this. And I think, unfortunately, I think the opposite of what's going to happen. I know Mac picked Stephanie, and as I want to do it too, because a lot of pretty mad, I don't want to get in her way. But Liv Morgan looks like she's on a different level right now.
Well, we will definitely see, man, on Saturday night. But I just really love the work Stephanie Vaquer is doing, man. Then I liked everything she said. She came on the WWE period, NXT, and what she's done on the main roster. But up next, AJ Lee defending her women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. And this one is AJ Lee, man, since she's come back and this cool and nostalgia. AJ Lee, it's been really, cool. Her part-time character that she is now, coming back after all these years. But she hasn't done any real work with anybody really other than Becky Lynch the entire time that she's come back. She was being part of the War Games match back in November. So I'm just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I think, honestly, just for the sake of WWE, to me, I'm just not a fan of part-timers holding down titles. I'm just never, I don't care who it is, who they are. If you're not there for the full ride, man, I'm just not really, I don't support them holding on to the gold. So I think I got to go with the man here, Becky Lynch, to get this title back off of AJ Lee. And they'll probably just continue their feud again a little bit longer. I don't know what the end game is with AJ Lee, what her plan is on this back in WWE. But as of right now, she's literally only worked really with Becky Lynch. So I don't know what else to really make of it.
I think AJ Lee is going to win, and I think they want to legitimize her title run as an Intercontinental Champion, and the Women's Intercontinental Champion. And the Becky Lynch thing is always a good play, but I could see her winning, like you said, Becky. But I just think there's so much more they can do with AJ Lee, who's back, depending on how long the contract is. I don't know how long she wants to stay and do this. It could be a short term, but they did give her a title for a reason. And they've had some decent promos, and I think this is going to be a match that's going to be pretty good. And I think AJ Lee is going to win the match and win the title, and they're going to try to keep her around as storylines because, I think you have a chance here to do something that you did with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. You have the same thing you can do with CM Punk and AJ Lee, have both be champions, right? So, and I think they want the Intercontinental title to do something. I think AJ Lee's deserved that. She's come back for a reason. You want me to legitimize that she's the legend that you say she is? She's got to beat Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch can take a loss to AJ Lee and keep going, right? AJ Lee takes a loss to Becky Lynch. It tarnishes her whole legacy and what she stands for, right? Now, if she loses to Becky Lynch down the road at like Backlash, or she loses the title because somebody else comes in and helps Becky Lynch and she loses the title somehow, some way, fine. But I can't give a legend a title who is over with the crowd, who is a Hall of Famer, who came back, who you gave a belt to because Becky Lynch had too much time with that belt. I think they're gonna give her moment. I think the Punks are gonna get their moment. AJ Lee is gonna get her moment, and then we'll get to the other card in a minute. But they're gonna get their WrestleMania moments, and I just think we'll see where they go from here with AJ Lee. because they have been dealing with Becky Lynch. But I think sometimes you got to end feuds, and I think this one's going to end here.
Well, all right, all right, all right. We will see, man. We will see. Like I said, I respect what you understand, but I just don't. I'm not like it's like when they kept putting the title on Brock Lesnar and he was just showing up like once a month. There were Roman Reigns, but when he had the title, just I can't. I just some of these guys are putting in that hard work day in and day out. Those are the ones that should be putting the gold around their waist. The ones that are on the road day in, day out. I just don't like the part timers having the gold. I don't mind seeing them come back every once in a while, having some matches here and there, but I just never been a supporter of them with the gold. But let's talk about another match. Do you want to talk about the women's tag team title match? Fatal 4-way, Lash Legend and Nia Jackson against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and against the Bella Twins. I don't know if you want to talk about that one.
Well, at least you froze on my screen. I don't know if you froze on anybody else's. You're back.
Nah. I was asking, did you want to talk about the title match, the tag team title match? Lash Legend, the women's tag team title match. The women's tag team title match.
Not really.
Fatal 4-way.
It's not really that compelling to me. I don't really care who wins the title, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean,
I can care less.
I mean, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend aren't even that captivating as a tag team. They really aren't. I think you know what this is. These are the type of matches the women's division has gotten too deep. This is the problem right now. They've gotten too deep, and when you get too deep in a roster like they have, you have to put legends together like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. You've got to put Bayley and Lyra Valkyria together, who I really think is going to win the title anyways, because they, otherwise they're going to split, right? And then you have Lash Legends and Nia Jackson. I forget who the other team is.
The Bella Twins.
Hard. They're there every week. They deserve it. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, your time is up. Your guys are older. Go back into the heavyweight title picture. Lash Legend and Nia Jax do nothing. I'd rather see Lash Legend. This is more about Lash Legend than it is Nia Jax. But it's one of those matches that I'm going to go get a beer. I'm going to go to the bathroom because at the end of the day, the result doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it could be a banger match.
I agree with you, Adam, man. I agree with you, man. It's just I don't give a damn about this match. This is definitely where I will be taking whatever bathroom break I need to take. Like for real. I'm getting up. I can care less about this match. But
plate with whatever food I'm eating. But we're talking about the match of the night.
Absolutely, man.
And that is Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. You know what's interesting about this match? Is I didn't realize how much history they have. Like, you don't realize how long of a career Cody Rhodes has really had. Like, geez.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But let's talk about one other match real quick before we get to that one. And that is Seth Rollins against Gunther. Am I echoing?
Yes, you are.
I don't know
how I feel. I don't know how I feel about that match. Like, I think that match is a hodgepodge match put together, right? Like, I like Seth Rollins, but what does him fighting Gunther do? right? Like, and I like Gunther. I think Gunther also. It's like they don't have any. Basically, this is when I talk about the roster being too deep, right? You've got to start to break off some storylines, and those two guys do have a history with the heavyweight champion CM Punk, right? I think Gunther was the one who took the title. That's the one that he took the title from. Uh, so he has a history there, CM Punk, and then you also have Seth Rollins, who is irritating at CM Punk, and they're in this match that has really no build and really no real purpose other than putting two superstars together to fill some time. There wasn't a storyline that was built. But I do believe if Braun Breaker is healthy or like cleared to do what Seth Rollins did, I could easily see Braun Breaker coming in and kind of helping out Gunther, not that it needs it. I think it's gonna be a good match because with two of the best in the game, but it doesn't move me the same way as another match we're going to talk about in a few minutes on the other side on the Sunday card. It's to me Gunther versus Seth Rollins, two probably Hall of Famers going up against each other. It's just one of those matches that we got to appreciate the talent going up against each other. But again, well, actually, I wouldn't say again. I would say this: I want to see Gunther win. I'm tired of Seth Rollins. There's no real direction with that guy. Every time he's always either fighting for a title or doing I'd rather see Gunther. I'd rather see him become more back in the title picture. That's a guy that you could really carry the company. So, what are your thoughts on Rollins versus Gunther? Yes, Mac is experiencing technical difficulties. Um, but I really, Seth Rollins has been injured, so I thought he was going to fight Brock Lesnar. That at first was like, okay, I could see that match happening. But then obviously we know what happened with Brock Lesnar. But again, we'll touch on that in a few minutes. But Mac, chime in here whenever you can. I don't know kind of the direction where you want to go because I don't know where you left off. So I know we're still talking about Rollins and Gunther, but we could also move to Rhodes and Orton. Mac is back.
If you want to start talking about Cody and Randy, go ahead. I gotta get to the
Is that talking about Randy? Okay. Well, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes match. This is an interesting match for me because the build-up is so unique. Like I never thought I would get to see this match. I didn't think about it. Like it just never crossed my mind. Even though Randy Orton was in there and Cody Rhodes was in there, it just never crossed my mind. And then because at first, remember we had Drew McIntyre was the champion, so you kind of had Drew McIntyre and would he fight Roman Reigns? Would he fight CM Punk? Blah blah blah. So then when they put the title back on Cody, it was like, well, who are they going to build up? And then you saw Randy Orton, come in and play a role. And I would love to see Randy get his 15th title, but there's a pay-per-view that comes on after WrestleMania. It's called Backlash or Revenge or of matches, and I can see them doing a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and giving him the title then, right? Getting Randy the title on that regard, right? I don't know if he gets the title tomorrow, or on Saturday. I don't know if he wins the title, but I can see them giving it to Cody for another WrestleMania moment, and then him losing the title a month later at Backlash. right? With Randy Orton, or in this case, Jacob Fatu, right? One of those two guys, I think, is going to be the time. And honestly, I think Cody Rhodes would rather do that, rather lose the title to a guy like Jacob Fatu than Randy Orton. But I can see them giving Randy Orton a 15 title because they did that with John Cena, right? And putting him in that upper echelon. He does deserve it. There are many things that Randy Orton can do, and a different storyline is not always the worst thing. And I would like to see, honestly, Cody Rhodes versus like a CM Punk for that.
Yeah, I'm with you right there, Adam. Can you hear me?
With like a CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, that's like a dream match for me with him being a title holder. So I think it's time for Cody to kind of give up the title and pursue other situations. And that's how I feel about
Can you
that.
hear me, Adam?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize for all the technical issues. I have no idea what's going on. The internet is just on the fritz right now, but I'm gonna try to get through this, man. As far as Cody and Randy Orton go, for me, man, look, uh, I love heel Randy. I love it. I love heel Randy. I love the way he attacked Cody Rhodes, and the Viper is back, letting them know like this is get Randy Orton, the version of Randy Orton that he's going to get, man. And it's been pretty dope. Watching them go back and forth every week. Now you incorporate Pat McAfee into the fold. I mean, honestly, I could have. I did. I don't necessarily believe he was necessarily needed for this. But at the end of the day, he's Pat McAfee. He's kind of just a natural when it comes to this stuff, and he's adding something to it as well, man, to the storyline as well. I don't know which way they go here, man. I feel like this is the time where Cody Rhodes has had his moments the last couple of WrestleManias, man. I think this is definitely the time for Randy to step back in there and get back to the top of the mountain because it'll probably be his last opportunity to do so. And I feel like no time better than the present, man. Obviously, like I said, I love Hill Randy. He's doing great Hill work, and I support everything he's doing, man. And I love watching. I've loved watching this storyline go down the last couple of weeks on SmackDown, man. So I got to go with Randy for the win, the Viper, man. I think for sure that this is his time to get that. I think what's to be his 15th or 16th time being a champion. I think no opportunity better than the present, man. Right at the expense of one of his very best friends in Cody Rhodes, man. These guys came in pretty close to the same time, way back when in WWE.
They're a legacy together.
They were the legacy together, absolutely, with Ted DiBiase's son. And so these guys have a lot of history, man. This is like one of those just dream WrestleMania matches, and it's going to be one hell of a way to end night one, man, of WrestleMania. But I like Randy for the win here.
Sounds
But
good.
are we ready to get to night two?
Oh yeah.
Because night two starts off with a banger.
Oh my god.
This starts off
Oh
with a banger on night
god.
two, man. It don't get much better than this. Night two, man, starting off the show. I think night two is the first hour is on ESPN2, I think, or ESPN again, whatever. The first hour is the same as night one. Live on ESPN, the first two matches, and we're gonna get some good action there. Night two, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar starting off the show. Ah, how much can I say about this match right here? How much I want to see it and the work that these two have been doing. I mean, I'm not even really a Brock Lesnar guy, but he's starting to convince me, man, with this work he's doing, this program with Obafemi right now, man. Obviously, we know a couple of months back or whatever, however long ago it was, Brock Lesnar came out, stepped out on Monday Night Raw one night, laid down a open challenge for WrestleMania, and pretty much was daring anybody to answer this call, man. And they want to drag it on for a few weeks, let it seem like everybody's scared of Big Bad Brock, man. And then the one day night he came out talking that nonsense, and then cue the music and the ruler one Mr. Obafemi comes marching down to the ring, man, and he's been one up in Brock every step of the way, man. I haven't seen Brock Lesnar get handled the way Obafemi's been handling Brock Lesnar, man. Oba's, if you guys are people aren't too familiar with Oba, he was an NXT superstar. He was a dominant champion down in NXT to the point where he ended up just relinquishing his title before coming up to the main roster because it was he did everything he did everything you could possibly do down there. It was just nothing more left for Obafemi. It was remnant of almost kind of remnant of Oscar when she was down in NXT years ago. It was kind of something similar like that where it's just somebody was just so dominant that there was just nothing anybody was going to be able to do about it. He relinquished that NXT title, come up to the main roster, and he has transitioned beautifully. And right now, he is getting a big WrestleMania moment. As far as things go, in a perfect world, so
Talk about me and Brock Lesnar. Give another second or two, maybe he'll come back. But I will take over what he said. I'm excited for this match. And I'm normally not. Like, I didn't know who Brock Lesnar going to face. Like, I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins came out and, kind of cowered away from Brock Lesnar, which is kind of odd because, like, at first I thought, Seth Rollins would have faced Braun Breaker, but obviously he's not healthy enough, or at least not been medically cleared yet. He's had a hernia and he's been out a few weeks, and I think he's recovering, and so we'll see. It's not like a major injury. Well, it's a major injury, but it's not like, months of time. It's a very short amount of time with a guy like him, but obviously want to clear him because he's going to be throwing guys all over the ring. You don't want to re-aggravate that thing, so you want to get him properly healed. Well, that being said, Obafemi comes out. Oh, here's Mac. Mac is back. Well, I think Mac is back and still having some difficulties. Don't know what's happening, but I will kind of keep talking a little bit, so there's not too much dead air. But I like Obafemi here. I didn't know much about him. Again, I'm not a huge NXT fan. I probably should be, but there's a lot of wrestling I watch, and I don't want to saturate, my TV and my family with wrestling. So I didn't always follow him in NXT, but I think Mac is back now. Let's see if he. I can hear you, Mac.
Can you? Because I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to say. All I can do is keep apologizing. All I can do is keep apologizing.
Today is not your night. But we were talking about Mac. You were talking about Obafemi and the match with Brock. I think it's gonna be a great match. I really do. I wish it was no holds barred, but those guys that big, I want to see them throw each other through tables and shit, or falls count anywhere match.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know. I don't know if I got cut. What did I froze up when I was in the middle of talking about the match? I don't even know at this point. Can you hear me?
Well, what are your thoughts on Obafemi? Are you yes? Are you excited to see Obafemi and Brock?
I'm absolutely. So I guess you didn't hear anything I said. Obviously, when I went on that whole Obafemi. I mean, what he did, just watching his career unfold, man. Obafemi, what he's done, coming through through NXT, where he was so dominant that he had to end up relinquishing his title, a la like the same way Oscar did. It's just been amazing to watch him his rise, and then coming out and the things he's done to Brock Lesnar over the last several weeks on Monday Night Raw, just plain incredible. The only way to really cap this thing off properly, in my opinion, is to have him is if he goes on and completes it and wins this match. I don't know if that's how WWE sees it. If I mean, Brock Lesnar, does Brock Lesnar really need to win? No, he Brock fucking Lesnar. No matter what, you're gonna go away. You're gonna go away and be gone for however knows how long. Anyway, so let's put Oba all the, not that he's not over, but let's put him all the way over. Let's push his ass back his ass, man, because I'm trying to tell you, this guy is the truth. He is legitimate. That promo he cut on Monday night left me with chills. It left me with chills. It was expert level stuff, and this guy's only been doing it for a few years. I mean, it's time, man. I think I want to see Obafemi really, get the job done on Sunday night, starting off WrestleMania Sunday night, man.
I mean, I'll
tonight because I hope WWE.
Oh, they got to do it. They're going to have to do it. He's over. Like, what is it? The real thing is, and I agree with you, Mac, on it with Oba. What purpose does it serve with Brock to win? I mean, if he was fake Seth Rollins, or maybe you're trying to, like, I feel like bringing him back is just a WrestleMania pop, and I think it's going to be good for Obafemi and what goes down with him. I don't. Again, Mac is frozen, so. But anyways, folks, we're having technical difficulties with Mac. When he comes back, he'll be back on stage. I think he's back now. But Obafemi, we got to move on to the next match because we've kind of hung on this match a little long. But Obafemi is going to be your winner, I think, on Sunday night to start. I think that's a great start for him. And I think big and better things are coming for Obafemi next year, or this upcoming year, right? Because WrestleMania can help with the WWE. I like Randy Orton. I like Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes needs to go after a different title. I think Randy Orton, if he's the title holder, needs other sharks swarming around, such as Fatu and Obafemi. And those are the type of matches you want to see and build up. So it's time to build those guys back up with Obafemi and all of them. So we're going to keep moving on because, obviously we have to.
I'm sorry, man. Can you just try to hold it down best you can, bro? I keep having these issues. I don't know what else. At this point, I don't know. I probably need a full reset at this point, and I'm just going to take a minute if I do that. But.
Well, I'm going to do my best. You can ride along here while you fix. Even on air anymore. I am on air. I'm still. We already talked about, Obafemi. Now we got to talk about a few of the other matches that are going on Sunday. With that, he had the card in front of him. I don't have the full Sunday matches in front of me, but I do believe we talked about Brock Lesnar. Oh, the United States Championship. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. I think that's going to be interesting because I think I like what Trick Williams is doing. I think he deserves a title shot. And this is a good title to start him as he builds up to a main eventer. He's got the build for it. And I think him beating Sami Zayn, God bless him. You gave him a championship because obviously you're going to probably, I wouldn't be surprised if Trick loses this match because they would want to give Sami Zayn his WrestleMania moment. And then again, in the following match, like the rubber match or the grudge match or whatever you want to call it, then they'll have Trick Williams win. But I think Trick Williams will put on a good show. So that's something to think about when you have in this game. So night 2, let's do this. So we talked about Trick Williams. That's going to be good. So here's how the matches go. Brock Lesnar starting first, right? Then the next match is the Intercontinental Championship match for the ladder match, which is insane. And I think that's going to be a good match. This the young guys like Penta, like Javon Evans, like Rusev, like Dragon Lee, like JD McConnell and Rey Mysterio. A lot of high flyers. I don't think Penta loses this match, but if you do, I would like to see Javon Evans get it because Rusev, doesn't really move the needle for me. You want to push him, this will be the title. And then, of course, Rey Mysterio being in is always great to see Rey Mysterio. And I can see him and Penta kind of the last two on the top of the ladder kind of fighting for that title. So it's going to be a good high-flying match. Good for Mysterio. I need this match to happen. I need Finn Balor to finally break through and do what he always has done. Finn Balor is a fall from gracer. What do I mean by that? The guy came in, had the Universal title, and then hurt his shoulder, and then lost it to Kevin Owens, and then never really regained that title shot. Like, never really got that shot again. I think he deserves it. Then he got, caught up in the Judgment Day. You remember when Edge was there, and Edge was bringing in these guys. And the Judgment Day, he's had a lot of, he was a tag team title holder there, but he never really won many singles. What he is not. I do hope that Dominic Mysterio does lose because I'm tired of Dominic Mysterio. His character has kind of flatlined for me, where there's no real depth with him. Like, you just kind of keep him around doing the same thing. So that is that. And then the next, we already talked about the United States Championship match with Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. I'm torn because I want Trick Williams to win, but I think they're going to do Sammy right and let him have his moment. Here's the other one, the women's champion, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is going to absolutely destroy Jade Cargill in this match. Absolutely, positively destroy Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill has had a horrible championship run. I don't think she's done anything. I think you're starting to see her form a faction, which is a little too late in my eyes. I think she's going to lose the title, and then she can form that faction with B-Fab and Michin, right? But I think Rhea Ripley gets the title back. She's been hot. She deserves it. And, I just think Jade Cargill, while she looks like Tarzan, she doesn't have everything together yet. Her mic skills are a little not fully refined. Her wrestling, she hasn't cut many great promos yet. And I just think her championship reign hasn't been something to talk about yet. She's not like a Bianca Belair who came in and kind of took WWE by storm. Rhea Ripley is becoming a legend, and I think she cements herself as one of the top women of all time by taking this title and really pushing it up. And I think with Rhea Ripley, you're going to get better matchups down the road, like a Bianca Belair, maybe an AJ Lee, maybe something like that. Jade Cargill still has some time that she needs to build on. I think having a faction with her being the leader of a group will really help elevate her character.
Well, I hate to kind of disagree a little bit with just the result. I don't disagree with what you said about Jade necessarily. I just think that this is the reason why they really made it a point to want to put her in this spot with Rhea Ripley, because when you look at Jade Cargill, she's like a damn superhero. I mean, she just does, like straight out of a comic book. And WWE just loves that, man. They love that stuff. And this is how they feel like. I think they're going to finally put Jade truly over and give her some credibility by having her actually knock off who I believe is the absolute pinnacle of the women's division right now. One Miss Rhea Ripley, man. I think it gets no better in the women's division than Rhea Ripley in WWE currently. And I think she is the top of the mountain. She's just like when you form like Voltron, Rhea Ripley is the head. I think this is what they want to do. They're going to have Jade Cargill chop that off. You see, they brought in the faction with her, forming a faction. Her baddies. Anybody follow Jade back in AEW? She had the same faction once, also called the Baddies. There, so she's now brought that gimmick to WWE as well with Meechin and B-Fab. Don't know how I feel about those two being the baddies, but nonetheless, that's where we are. And I think this is the moment that they're going to use to really try to convince the WWE world that Jade Cargill is a legitimate champion. Because I agree, the title run thus far has been nothing to even talk about whatsoever. And yeah, she's gotten better in the ring, but she's still definitely clunky at times. And once also the mic skills, she's not believable with the microphone in front of her hand. She hasn't cut that promo like what I just mentioned about Obafemi a little while ago, where Obafemi literally gave me chills on Monday night with that when he cut that promo on Monday night. I mean, that was top level stuff. You think the guy was doing it for years with the way he cut that promo on Monday night. Jade definitely doesn't have that in her, doesn't seem to have that ability. And I think this is the moment WWE is trying to use to really, really try to convince the WWE universe that Jade Cargill belongs in the spot that they put her in. Because like I said, when you look at her, she looks straight out of the comic book, man. She does look like a superhero that she likes to portray, man. She's one of, anybody doesn't know, Jade Cargill is one of those ones. You'll go to Comic-Con, you'll catch a Jade Cargill table. She's definitely a big fan of all that, the Marvel universe and all the comic book stuff, and she's into that. That's one of her things, and she looks like that when you see her, and she's got a long way to go. But I think this is the moment they're going to use to really put her, try to put her over and convince to the WWE fans.
Well, I want to agree with you, but the problem has been her buildup has taken a little while longer. Because when she came in, the Storm was coming. I loved every minute of her gimmick. It reminded me of Storm from X-Men, But then she comes in, and then you have lackluster matches. She has a lot of power, Don't get me wrong. She does do a lot of things. I don't think her losing to Rhea Ripley just takes her shine away. I think the reason why the title is going to move to Rhea Ripley is because it's been such a lackluster build with the championship in her hand that I think if she can come back with the faction and be just a terror and terrorize people like the Judgment Day does, and then she can rebuild herself back up on the chase and the come up, I think that's what's going to be better for her, And then the WWE can move on with Rhea Ripley as a champion, and then build up characters that deserve to be built up, like and Tiffany Stratton coming back and fighting her, and those type of dream matches, B Lashes coming up, and that type of stuff. Valkyria, like that's what I want to see. Those type of women doing what they need to do to get there. And I think Rhea Ripley helps push that storyline along more so than Jade Cargill, who still is green behind the ears because she didn't have NXT. She had AEW. She came in with AEW, if people remember. And she was a beast in AEW. Didn't have to talk in AEW. All she had to do was beat people up in AEW, and it worked. But when you come to WWE, part of the gimmick is mic work, right? You just can't beat up everybody forever without either a manager or some type of mic skills. And I think her losing and then getting the faction to kind of grow. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right, and she'll get the faction and be good. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe you're right. Giving her that faction will push her. But to me, it's tough because the WWE likes to rely on what the WWE universe wants, and they don't like forced champions. And I think Rhea Ripley is more what the WWE wants right now, and Jade can build herself up behind the faction.
Yeah, I just it's just my history with WWE, years of watching and knowing how they do what they do. Jade Cargill is everything they want in a women's champion as far as the look. And they base so much on the look that I just feel like this is the opportunity that they're going to try to really put her over with the fans and with WWE Universe and give her that credibility victory that makes people try to turn people into believers. But it could go either way. You're right. I mean, right now we know who the better woman truly is, but I'm just basing off of what WWE, how they kind of do business and how they do things. Let's get to the main event, man. Let's get to the main event. Yes. CM Punk, Roman Reigns. Obviously, the build for this match has been absolutely brilliant. It's been a long time coming. CM Punk, Roman Reigns taking jabs each and every week at each other, making it personal, really just adding that extra something on to all of this, man. Adam, what's your thoughts, man, about this main event?
Man, you want to talk about cutting a promo. The promo before this last Monday Night Raw that CM Punk cut gave me the chills, like you said, or gave me goosebumps. It was pipe bomb central. He went in on everybody and everyone. He didn't hold back. And that's the CM Punk I was waiting for. Because remember, he was like, oh, you want a CM Punk pipe bomb? Bang! That was the pipe bomb. I mean, last week was more of a show of respect, like, okay, like we're going to do this. I'll see you at WrestleMania because it's the last Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. But that promo he cut the week before, I'm CM Punk and I approve this message, was absolute gold. Absolute gold. And it really set the tone for what I believe is going to be a banger of a match. And I do believe that they're going to raise the hand of CM Punk on Sunday night because he lost last year in the main event at WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to do him dirty like that again. If you know the WWE and the history of the WWE, that and Roman Reigns has a lot going on with movies, and he even said it himself with a lot of things, and he's still got appearances. Just like CM Punk said, they sent you to Jimmy Fallon because you're the safe pick. And that's what we want to see, a little edginess. We miss that, CM Punk. We miss the guy whose mic gets cut off when he's talking because they're so worried about what he's going to say. That was him 2 weeks ago. If he brings that guy on Sunday, I don't think Roman Reigns has a chance. I don't know about you. I don't like Roman Reigns the same way as most people. I think he's been a man, like CM Punk said, a manufactured champion because he had the bloodline helping him out a lot and doing a lot of things for him. So while he does have that reign that he had of the 1,300 days or whatever it was, I think when you reign that long and you beat Bruno Sammartino and you beat a lot of these other guys in terms of the title reigns, you kind of don't need to deserve a title, and CM Punk deserves a good defense of his title on the grandest stage of them all to culminate in his career. Now, after WrestleMania, you want him to lose the title to whomever that may be, whether that's Cody Rhodes, Fatu, whatever big name you think is going to help elevate him, fine. But he needs his moment, and I do believe because of the circumstances with Roman Reigns and a lot of the things he does, he will get that moment. And I will be disappointed if he doesn't. I mean, I'm going to get over it because I'm a grown-ass man. But I can't see another part-time champion. Punk has been there. You want to talk about the lack of champions that Jade has, it's been the opposite for CM Punk. Every week he's got somebody he wants to fight. Every week he's out there, busting his ass, cutting promos, and being a part of teams. He is doing it. And I don't think he gets enough credit for it. And I think they chant his name, like Roman Reigns said, for the last decade. When Roman Reigns leaves, they're not going to chant the same way that they do with CM Punk. I just don't think he has that impact. I think he's good for this generation and their championship, but I think it's CM Punk, and I'm going with him. That's my guy.
I agree with CM Punk winning this match. I believe, like you just said, he got his first WrestleMania World main event opportunity just like a year ago. We know how that ended with the Vision being formed and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, the whole thing and all of that. We know how that match ended. So he got the opportunity to be in the main event at WrestleMania a year ago, but he still came up on the short end of the stick. This year he kicks down that door, and gets the big win over Roman, and this has been just going, festering for almost a couple of years now at this point. This has been like something brewing, and now it's going to come to a head, and it's going to be one hell of a way to end Sunday night and end WrestleMania night too, man. I think that CM Punk is definitely going to win this. He's definitely won the war of words, and I think he's going to get it done in the ring as well, man. I just think this is what he's come. This is the moment that he came. This is what he came back for. To get to this moment right here. And I think this is finally when WWE is going to give him that WrestleMania moment. He's had some, he's obviously competed in several WrestleManias and had big moments before, but this is the one right here. This is what he came back to WWE to do. And also, like you just said, another just to know, not to be, beating dead horse, but yeah, I'm part-timers to me just shouldn't be holding the titles, man. They should not be holding the gold. Roman Reigns, if he wins this, we won't see him again for like another month or more or whatever. And I just don't support that. And I hope that WWE does the right thing and CM Punk walks out of there on Sunday night with the gold around his waist. Because like you said, he's there each and every week and he's a fighting champion. And that's what we want to see. That's what I personally as a fan want to see. Is a fighting champion, somebody that's going to be there week in, week out, putting the title on the line, whatever it takes, man. Taking on all comers, not ducking anybody, not hiding from anybody. And like you said, this is going to be, this one's going to be hot. This is going to be spicy. You know what I mean? Spicy. But before we wrap it up real quick, I just wanted to touch on a couple of the other matches real quick that I didn't get to while I was getting my stuff fixed up. Once again, I do deeply apologize to anyone that was listening to all of my messed up, technical issues I was having. And I definitely apologize to you, Adam, because you've done a great job holding it down today. So I really appreciate you, my brother.
No worries.
But
thank you.
Yeah, the ladder match, man. Penta defending that thing in a 6-pack ladder match, man. Some more great, just young talent in here. Rusev, I don't know what the hell he's doing in this match. He just doesn't belong, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what they made them throw Rusev in this match for, because it's going to be high flying everywhere in this match from everybody else except for Rusev. Obviously, he's just not that guy. Yeah. I guess they're putting him in there for the power element to be the big bad bully of the match, I guess. But he to me, he didn't really belong in this one. And they threw Ray in at the last second to make it a 6-pack. And why not? This could possibly be Ray's last WrestleMania for all we know. Hall of Famer, throw him the bone, man. But Javon Evans, another guy from up and down the NXT, man. The work that Oba, Javon, and Trick Williams have done coming up from NXT. They were superstars down there, and they've come up and transitioned beautifully to the main roster, and they are also working at superstar levels on the main roster. All three of them, man. I want to nod my hat to all three of those guys, man, because we usually see that when the NXT stars get called up, they kind of get derailed, a la Carmelo Hayes, a guy that who Sami Zayn took the title at the United States title off of, and these three have come up, and it's just been enjoyable to watch, man. Trick is so over right now with the crowd, and I've heard some rumors that it's going to be a little, Trick's going to kind of go babyface in this one, and Sammy's going to end up going full-blown heel, because as you see the reaction Sammy's been getting the last couple of weeks after the way he took the title off of Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams, every time his music hits, man, whoop that Trick, you hear whoop that Trick, that crowd goes absolutely bonkers, man. So I'm not so sure about that yet. I'm not sure they're ready to quite do that yet, but I think it's going to be one of those things where it kind of extends and goes into maybe Backlash as well, where we'll see another rematch, possibly adding Carmelo Hayes maybe back into the mix and making them go on a triple threat style at Backlash. Maybe we'll see how that all plays out. But I just wanted to mention those three young men, because they have come up from NXT, and I haven't seen anyone really transition to the main roster as seamlessly as they all have, and they're all getting WrestleMania moments this weekend, well deserved. But and then the one other match I just want to touch on, because of a theory I have in the match and how it may end. The Dominic and Mysterio match is going with Finn Balor, man. Like, Finn Balor coming out as the Demon for this one, guys. If you didn't know, yeah, he's bringing the Demon back for this one, and we know the Demon does not play games. So good luck, Dominic Mysterio, on that. But I think what you was going to say?
I think Finn needs to win.
Well, I think he's going to win, but I'm going to tell you how I think he's going to win. I think it's going to be a whole lot of shenanigans with Judgment Day style. I think we're going to get Liv Morgan integrating herself into with her little boyfriend, Dominic Mysterio. She's going to integrate herself. I think we're going to get a Roxanne Perez appearance. I think they're going to think everything's all good, and then Roxanne's going to swerve the Judgment Day. And I think that's going to set up for perhaps a mixed tag match at Backlash between Finn and Roxanne Perez against Liv and Dominic Mysterio. As we know, Finn Balor is the one that brought Roxanne Perez into Judgment Day, and she wasn't a part of the plan to kick Finn out the way they did, like garbage. So I think we're going to see something to that effect, and it's going to be the beginning of a little storyline going in the Backlash for a mixed tag match. That's just a theory I got. I just like to make, and I just like to try to.
Aleister Black's good. Aleister Black meeting the Demon. Knocking out Dominic Mysterio.
So that's where we at with it. But like I said, I've had a rough night, guys, and I think we need to go ahead and call this a night. Adam, man, thanks again so much, man. That's why you are the super dope co-host, man. And just real quick before we get out of here, you guys, we will be back in a couple of weeks with addition of the Real Deal NFC's roundup, as the draft is a week away, and we follow that up every week, every year with a rundown after the draft, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with the Real Deal NFC's roundup. And Zion, shout out to Zion, couldn't make it tonight. Hopefully he'll be back next week live for the draft. And look, I got one more thing to say before I get up out of here. New York Mets, you get the finger. Both of them. You guys are not worthy. You have no heart. Carlos Mendoza, you should not have a job still. I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on with this baseball team. 8 losses in a row, unacceptable. I don't care who you're going against. You went out there and got swept by the Dodgers. You got swept by Oakland. And you damn near got swept by the damn Diamondbacks as well. Damn near did. So, and Oakland and the Diamondbacks was at home, by the way, in Citi Field. So you get the double finger, New York Mets. I will not waste another second watching that baseball team for the foreseeable future because they have no heart. But that's all I got to say about that. And we will be back next week. We'll see. I'm not sure. It's the draft night. I don't know how we're going to spin it, how we're going to do it. Either way, I'll be live regardless for the draft, no matter what. I don't know how we're going to do it for PT, if we're going to do it. I don't know what you guys want to do. We'll talk about it and figure it all out. But throw them fours up for our guy, NYG, Jeffy T, man. Always one love, man. And we appreciate you, bro. We love you. We still love you, man. And I'm Mac the Giants fan. That's Adam Costas, man. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.